the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
What a walk-on. President Trump got a hero's welcome from U.S. service members in Japan, and he gave them a big surprise with this.
As we make a record investment in our military, we've never spent so much, and we've never spent it more wisely, because now we watch it. We spend it properly. I'm also supporting an across-the-board pay raise for every sailor and service member in the United States Armed Forces.
Can I get a heck yeah, Griff? That's amazing.
It was. And, you know, the videos coming out of his visit from Margot Martin at the White House, there was also, he was doing the Trump dance to sing in YMCA. They love him, Emily. They love him because they know, they feel that they've got a commander-in-chief that has their back. And they're not just giving him a raise, but really respecting them as much as he respects them. And I think it's a really telling thing. Look, President Trump is really on an upbeat momentum because he's had success so far in his first trip this term to Southeast Asia. But taking time to be with those troops, I've spent a lot of time overseas. Troops, even when you just show up, it's like something to show them that you recognize them. We you know, are glad and are so happy for what you're doing. He actually turned it into a whole event, and I think the raise was obviously a big takeaway, and they care about that, but it's a lot more than that. Coming from military families, I just also want to sort of harken back to, remember in the Doge era, when we talked about the appropriate stewardship of tax dollars. It's not about not spending. It's about spending wisely and in line with American values. And resoundingly, it is to support and take care of our military members.
Well, in making this particular time in our history with the federal shutdown and having a donor, someone who Trump knows to help out that bottom line for those active duty right now is a fine point on where his priorities are. Not the ballroom, unless we're talking about the White House, but the actual keepers of our sovereignty as a nation. That's important to him. You know what I love about this moment? Because he is having a lot of success in Asia. You would know that by watching the alphabet soup networks and liberal and legacy ones. But among all of that, it's multifaceted, that multitasking. He is happy. You feel his joy. He carries out who we are as a country with great potential, and we're exceptional. It's also a charm offensive. And when he really bestows love on our military, he also knows that that shows the world that I appreciate them. So when it's time to promise that we will keep our promises to hold you accountable, you can trust that we have each other's backs. There's a multifaceted messaging there, I believe, with this president, and it's good.
There's a certain climate that this president inherited, Kaylee, and frankly, the military infrastructure had been allowed to rot. There was mold in our military housing. There are many, many military members who are still in food pantry lines despite their current service and their families. So it was a thin and precarious situation that finally this president and the Secretary of War and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs have come together to say no more. It's a long time coming, but it's so gratefully received that now our military members will be rewarded commensurate with their bravery and sacrifice.
Yes, I mean, taken care of from the VA and so on and so forth, all of the things going back to the Obama administration that President Trump rectified, but also the decisions made in the Situation Room about the Abbey Gate by Biden, where I would argue it was a dereliction of duty, the way Afghanistan and that exit was handled. President Trump, all three of his speeches, the media is going nuts. Like, how dare he bring up politics to the military? Trump is who he is. He has fun on any stage he's in. So you guys obsess over that. But the most important thing he said, and this was in his his speech to the generals, my message to you is very simple. I'm with you. I support you. As president, I have your backs 100%. That is so true. And our military has heard that, and they feel that.
They feel that. And we talked about that before the election when President Trump resoundingly won. There were a lot of military members and agency members throughout the federal government that I know of personally that had their retirement papers ready to submit if Kamala had won. And then when President Trump, when they said, this is a commander-in-chief that I know will put my safety and the alignment of American values first.
100%. And he empowered the armed forces because to him, nothing comes above them, really. They are the central bulwark of our republic, keeping us safe. My dad was an Army captain in the Vietnam War. He went to West Point. I cannot tell you how much he was heartened to know that Trump wanted to put our military first again and to build it so that it would be the preeminent on the world stage.
Yeah, bravo to that raise. Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.